What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Real Build. I'm your host, Bill Ryman, your broker builder, and this is episode 167 of The Real Build podcast. Thank you all for tuning in each and every week. Like I always say, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Please take the time to share with your friends and family. Obviously, this show keeps growing each and every week. I'm going to keep giving you as much value as possible. If you guys can take the time to 5-star review this on iTunes, a lot of you have done that, and I really, really appreciate it. And if I could return the favor in any way, please message me too if there's any topics you want me to hit on as far as construction, real estate, anything in these worlds. I'm happy to help each and every one of you. And today's discussion, I wanted to reflect on the TCS Top Contractor School Inner Circle Retreat. I wanted to recap on it. I just got back from it after this weekend. It was an amazing weekend with a lot of friends who I consider family, great people. If you guys don't know about Top Contractor School, it is an amazing group. I've been a part of it for a little over a year now. It's helped my business grow in so many ways. I come from a construction business, as a family business, and we were pretty successful. And there was some kinks in the armor. There always is with businesses, and with Brian Hess's help and in the Top Contractor School community, we have grown, and now we're projected this year to do a little over 20 million in construction, new custom builds, and that number is projected to go higher the following year as well. So I owe a lot of my success to Top Contractor School. Brian has been kind of coaching me in different directions. This man knows a lot. And when I looked for a group, and this just to kind of sum up why I'm a part of it, but when I looked for a group, Top Contractor School stuck out to me because it was more of a family. I saw how dedicated everybody was to each other. There wasn't a revolving door of people coming in and out. And also I got to know Brian Hess really well and saw him building his company, the Pavement Group, to a huge, one of the top pavement companies in the country as we speak. And he actually walks the walk, doesn't just talk the talk. He backs up what he says. And his company, I've seen it through this past year, how much growth they have had. And that was somebody that I wanted to personally be coached by too, with my growing company. And also that's why I'm helping other people, as far as contractors, GCs trying to scale up their building companies as well. So little background of why I am a part of TCS. It's a great group. It is a family. Every time we get together, it's just everybody gets in the room. You can tell, we're tuned in. We're ready to go. We're ready to better ourselves in all ways, not just with our businesses, but, in all ways of life. So if you guys have questions about Top Contractor School, reach out. But I want to get into the retreat. I want to recap on it. It was amazing. It was hosted in Hollywood, Florida at the Diplomat, an amazing hotel. Brian, Keith Callaway Jr. did an amazing job getting this whole thing set up, and Jenna, who works with Brian as well in the Top Contractor School group. They did an amazing job getting all this put together. It's a lot of work, a lot of legwork getting these things going. So I commend them on that. But I want to jump into it. I kind of want to discuss, what was talked about. This year's focus was on leadership. And obviously, without good leadership, your business probably will not have a lot of success. Let's face it. Every business needs a leader. It needs an established leader, and that leader has to have, the top role of the company, but you have to be a good leader. So what is a good leader? What is good leadership? There's bad leaders out there, and there's also good, but how do you become a good leader? So the conference opened up with Keith Callaway Jr., who is a good friend of mine. Keith and I got to know each other a couple years ago at an Arte event, and ever since we've, talked, every time we see each other, he's just a great, genuine person, and he is driving his business every single year their business is just growing and growing, and they own a pavement company, K&L Industries, and they're doing amazing things in the pavement space. But Keith, I got a lot of respect for Keith because on the leadership end of things, you see it, how he's hired employees and how he deals with employees. And Keith's biggest thing, one thing he talks about is people before profits, people over profits. It's all about building up your people, making a community within your business, building up your people. His company takes people that are lost, in life and maybe felons or, can't find a job anywhere else, and they build them up. And that's why I got a lot of respect for him, because most businesses won't take the time to do this. And I'm going to actually have a conversation with Keith about this week. I got a schedule with him because, there's so many people out there that don't get a second opportunity because of their background and their record that are great people. But people are just say no right away. They get rejected. And then that's why a lot of the people with felonies and stuff like that go right back to where they were, because they need to make money. They don't have a way to go. And Keith and K&L are literally building up people, they give them opportunities. So Keith talked about how can you build a business where people want to stay within your company, and one thing they were talking about is doing quarterly core values awards too, which I liked, where they give awards to their employees every single quarter, for their accomplishments and who lived up to the core values within the company. Another thing Keith brushed on is leadership allows you the choice of where you want to go. So people need to trust that you are going to be there no matter what happens, good or bad. So true leaders gain trust that people you're always going to be there for them through thick and thin, and no matter what happens. And Keith kind of gave a story about how somebody, wrecked one of his machines and how he approached it. He didn't approach it all heated up and pissed off and fire the guy right away. He had a conversation with the guy on why it happened, and the reasons behind it. The guy automatically assumed he was going to get fired, but there was more. Keith took more of a leadership or an impact role with this guy too. And that's one thing with K&L too, is just the way they approach their employees, the way they hire. It's different. And I actually had a past podcast with Keith where you can hear more about this too, on a past episode where I got deeper into, how he hires, these employees and keeps them around and motivates them and keeps them out of trouble and, gains trust and so on. There's so much behind it. And obviously this is a shorter episode, but go check out that episode with Keith. But I got a lot of respect for Keith Callaway Jr. and Sr. They both were on my podcast in the past, and how they're handling their hiring, their leadership in K&L, and just building that team, building people that want to be a part of that business and feel a part of that business. And that goes into leadership too, and having that role as a leader and making people want to be a part of something that matters, and building lives one shovel at a time. That's kind of their motto with their company. And it's just, you see it, and it's something special. So go listen to those past episodes. But Keith was amazing on stage. He touched on a bunch of different things as far as leadership too. And next person up was Brian Hess. Obviously, Brian Hess is the one that created and founded Top Contractor School. Brian's a good mentor of mine, great friend of mine. Personally, just actually went to my wedding, him and his wife, Lori, and just a great overall person. I have a lot of respect for. And like I said, from at the beginning of this podcast too, one reason that I went with Top Contractor School is because I've seen Brian do it. I've seen him build his business. I've seen the growth each and every month. I see how he leads. I see the things that he's doing. Everything he says he implements, he does it. He doesn't just talk about it, he actually does it. And he's built businesses. That's the thing. He's building multi-million-dollar businesses. And I have no doubt about it that Brian's going to be probably the biggest paving contractor in the United States. And he's doing big things. And that's why I got a ton of respect, because, you know, the people that you should go with, the people that you should listen to are the people that actually built things. You know, there's a lot of coaches out there right now. You see them all over Instagram. Let me coach you. And they've never built a business. They don't have a background. So how are those people going to help you if they haven't done it? And that's one thing I have a big respect for Brian for, and Keith Callaway Jr. and Senior, and this whole TCS group, is we're all building businesses. We're all helping each other. We're all making a difference in our communities, you know, and we're all walking the walk, not just talking the talk. And that's the thing. So Brian spoke on leadership and how to lead with care and connection. And I really like this because, you know, leadership isn't just about being, you know, the head honcho, being the guy that everybody kind of just follows and tells you what to do. That's not leadership. And he kind of reflected on, he said, is there any reason or thing that someone can break trust with you? You need to think about that within your business. You know, what is there something that you are doing that somebody will not trust you within your business? And that kind of makes you think too, is you know, he also talked about trust and how it's established by actions. You know, people follow what you do in construction. You know, our people follow what you do every day. They see what you do every day. If you show up first, you show up early, your team's going to show up early. You show up late, your team's going to probably be like, he's coming in late, I'm going to do that. You don't show up at all. You know, it's just people follow your actions. So you have to establish the best actions possible with your company. You know, because construction is a business, you know, construction is a people business too. We're around people. So if you show up every single day with a positive attitude, show up early, come in, crush your day, crush your goals, people are going to see that and they're going to follow suit. And that's that's being a leader. That's a true leader. So, you know, and he spoke on the trust as far as having your team trust you. You know, do they go to you for their personal problems and not just for business problems too? Are people talking to you? If they're coming to you just about business problems, then that's one thing, but do they talk to you about their life, their personal problems? You know, it's important to establish that role where it's establishing trust. That's the main thing, establishing trust within your business. So Brian touched on that. One thing he said that stuck with me, and he said this in the past, is it's impossible to show up as a leader and do the right things and get the wrong results. Think about that. It's impossible to show up as a leader and do the right things and get the wrong results. So always show up. He touched on that. Another thing he touched on is the upcoming recession. Obviously, you see the doom and gloom everywhere. I've talked about this in past episodes as well. You know, turn it off. Right now, everybody's glued to the news. They're saying everything's going to go under. It's a recession. It's all bad, blah, blah, blah. Turn it off. Don't participate. You know, go put in the work. When everyone else is panicking, you know, they will look. And one thing, this actually stuck out because Brian actually said, when everyone else panics, they look to leaders, you know, during those times. They look to find leadership. And if you're not panicking and you're just going about your everyday business and doing the things that you need to do, you're going to get better people. You're going to get better employees. You're going to get the people searching for a way to go, the good employees, and that's about to happen. So people are all leaving their companies. They're going to get laid off or whatever's going to happen. And those people, those good employees, are going to look for leaders that aren't fazed by all this. And that's the way you got to run your business. And I turned off the news a while ago. I can't stand it. Everything is just negative. News is all about clicks. It's a click. It's just, you look at the headlines, it's all about clickbait these days. It's just nothing in the news is good anymore. You turn it off and you just focus on you and building your company. You're not going to slow down. And be honest, we at RK Ryman Construction have not slowed down. I've been asked by subcontractors, are you guys slowing down? I said, no, absolutely not. We got a lot of jobs coming up. We're currently building, 15, 16 homes as we speak. all luxury high-end homes, and we are not slowing down. Like I said, we're projected to do over 20 million. And the following year, we will do over another 20 million. I'm going to try and push for over 30 million. So we are rocking and rolling, and it's been amazing. But that one thing Brian said is do not participate. Keep your head down. Keep moving forward. Take care of your employees. Take care of your teams. Be a leader. Build trust. And, always continue to keep leveling up. Keep casting out your vision to your team. And, the more aligned the more aligned your team is, the faster the train will continue to move. So that was one thing Brian touched on as well. Leadership is hard, but the best part about it is caring for people, making a difference in at least one person's life. That stuck out to me right there big time. Is just, that's what matters. You are changing lives as a leader. You are changing lives as a business owner. It's not just about you. You're carrying your team with you through these hard times that everybody else is talking about. You're pushing forward. You're taking your team with you, and the train is rolling. So Brian was awesome. I got a big respect for Brian. It was amazing. And then next we had Claudio Gambin, which he's part of GFG, Gambin Financial Group. Claudio touched on money. I'm not going to get too into it. He touched on business tax savings and so on too. In the future here, I got to have Claudio on my podcast. He's actually my financial advisor personally. Great guy, great team behind them too. He kind of talked about just tax savings, being patient and staying in your lane as far as with your business, build liquidity, and liquidity will create more opportunities for you even during hard times too. So Claudio did a great job. He was up there briefly. And then next we had Brad Lee on, who, if you guys aren't familiar with him, he's on social media, the real Brad Lee. He was awesome. He always is. He brought some amazing stuff, amazing points. He at first he opened up with defining the word entrepreneur. And he said, entrepreneurs are people that take bigger risks than normal. There's a lot of people that quote unquote call themselves entrepreneurs, but they do nothing. They're not taking risks. They're not moving forward. And then he also talked about patience and how patience is a dream killer. You need to get up every single day thinking you have no time, which hit me hard too, because, it's just, a lot of people live in the past. You need to live in the present, but you also need to put in the work. There's so many distractions in this world right now. And if you're getting distracted, you're not growing. There's no growth happening. And that's what the world is filled with. They want to distract you when we should all be moving forward, growing, building our businesses. And then he got into the Sacred Six, which the first one he said this was his kind of go-to thing. He called it the Sacred Six. And the first one was forgive yourself, look at yourself in the mirror, and anything that's kind of held over your head that you keep going back to, forgive yourself for it and just move forward. Stop looking in the past. And then also he went into number 2, which was commit to what you say you're going to do. A lot of people say they're going to do something and they don't do it. Plain and simple. So if you got goals, do them. Set your goals. Execute on those goals. If you say you're going to do something that day, do it. You say you're going to make a phone call that day, make that phone call. You say you're going to, I don't even know. You say you're going to do something on shoot out an email, shoot out that email. This is as far as business. You say you're going to take your wife out to dinner, take your wife out to dinner. Commit to what you say you're going to do. He also said rack up the wins. This one's important to me too, because, if you rack up wins daily, even small wins, everybody focuses on these big goals, but just focus on small wins. Andy Frisilla, who's a mentor of mine, talks about this all the time as well. Bradley talks about it. Brian Hess talks about it. There's just focus on the small wins too daily. I do a daily 5. I have 5 things I need to complete each and every day. They're small things. Then if I complete these tasks, then I can do whatever the hell else I want to do. But these 5 tasks have to better myself. And that's what I do each and every day. If I don't do them, I lose the day. It's a mission to win the day. This comes from Andy Frisilla. I got this from him. A lot of other people do utilize it. So those small wins lead up to big wins. He talks about that, and it's important. And it's important to me because it makes me, I'm competitive. I want to get things done. If I say I'm going to do it, I have to do it. It's just who I am. So I don't just write those things down and close the book. I have to do those things by the end of the day. I drive my wife nuts sometimes because I'm like, oh, I got to read, or I got to post something, or I got to edit this podcast. That's on my daily fiber. I got to, I have a hobby shop. I got to list a couple sports cards or whatever. Do those tasks, get those things done, because in the end, they benefit you 100%. So get rid of the idiots in your life. That was his fourth thing, which is obviously we all know there's a lot of people that come across our lives that hold us back. Whether you're in a relationship with them, you're friends with them, get rid of them. They hold you back. Get rid of them. I've talked about in past episodes, I was in a relationship. I got out of it, and things have 10x since I got out of that relationship because I felt like I was getting held back from my true potential. I've had friends that I've had to get kind of out of my life. You can put those friends, you don't have to eliminate all your friends. You put friends into a bubble, but there's friends that you're going to have too in your life as your business grows and personal growth happens that, are going to continue to push you. Those are the friends you want to be around, the people that are rooting for you. Every single time you have a win, they cheer you on. That's what you want to be around. And then you got the friends too that are always kind of going to be the same. They don't really change. That's okay. But some of these, some people tell you to X out those friends, but if they're pulling you back in any kind of way, they're not your friend. If they're telling you can't do something or you shouldn't do it, they're not your friend. That's not what friends do. So keep that in mind. Visualize where you want to go. Visualization is important. This is number 5. Obviously, I visualize as much as possible each and every day. You need to visualize where your mission is, where you want to go in life, what you want to have, what you want to own, where your business is going to be. Picture in your mind. As a kid, you used to do this stuff. Why not do it as an adult? Continue to visualize as much as possible because it is powerful. Read books on it. A lot of people are like, haha, there's no way that can happen. I've done it. I've visualized a bunch of different things into reality, and it's happened, and I continue to do it. It's very powerful. So I'm brushing on these real quick. I don't want to have this podcast go on forever, but seek information daily. This is very important. Read books, study, watch YouTube videos, listen to podcasts, these things, anything that's going to fill your mind and educate you and make you better. That's very important. Listen to an audiobook. Just do things that are going to help you and benefit you. There's so much knowledge out there that a lot of people don't even absorb. I like to read. I like to listen to audiobooks. I listen to certain podcasts too. I listen to podcasts that you can listen to. Ed Milet's podcast, Andy Frisella's podcast. You can listen to a few other ones that I like to listen to. Brian Hess has a podcast. You listen to my podcast. It's going to educate you on as far as building and real estate. I'm actually trying to look at podcasts right now that I have that I like to. The Huberman Lab, I like that podcast a lot as far as, health and so on too. I listen to a lot of different Bible-based podcasts too as well. So there's so much information with podcasts out there that can help you with growth. And mine says Jim Quick with the brain, the Quick Brain podcast. I love that one. You can listen to Brad Lee's podcast too. He has a bunch of guests on. So go check out and gain that knowledge and seek information daily. He also talked about the $1 Million Morning, do more to get better, leverage technology, build a company that you own that doesn't own you, use money as a tool. He talks about leveraging all these different things too, and I'm just briefly touching on them. He talked about his $1 Million Morning and how he goes about his morning, reaching out to certain people, at least 2 to 3 people daily. But then also after the $1 Million Morning, it gets into, you got to do more. You got to get better every day. You got to learn technology. Like in the construction business and the real estate business, technology is king. If you're not leveraging it, you will be left behind. So I'm always looking for ways technology wise. One of the guys at the TCS event, Austin, who I'm, become good friends with, he was telling me that I need to use a few apps he was showing me that we're going to utilize within our business. Also, another thing is, build a company that doesn't basically own you, or, build a company that you own that doesn't own you. That one stuck out to me because a lot of people build companies and they're just glued to them. They're they're beat up every day. They come home just exhausted. So implement those right people and those right tools in place. And also use money as a tool. And you need to have a respect for money. Money sitting in an account isn't doing anything. Put money to work. He talked about that. Final speaker was John Maxwell. Amazing speaker. John Maxwell obviously is the king, the GOAT of leadership, the greatest of all time. Maxwell sold probably 36 million books of one of his books, and the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership too. Just go check that book out. But he is the king of leadership. And John Maxwell, I got a lot. It was amazing. So Maxwell, obviously was the final speaker on Saturday, and he started getting into, and I'm going to brush on these briefly. I can't give you all, go to a TCS event if you guys want to see or hear more, but I'm going to brush on him briefly on some of the stuff he talked about. He said success is three different things. Success is three things. Knowing your purpose in life was his first one. Why were we created? What are you passionate about? What are your strengths? These are the things you need to ask yourself. You need to kind of dedicate your life and your business and your direction that you go and your leadership towards. So why are you doing certain things? Why did God put us here? What is our best strength? What is our weaknesses? And define those things. And that's going to make you progress in whatever you do. Now, his next thing was grow to your max potential. Personal growth is the secret to success. Obviously, work on your personal development. Constantly spend money on yourself. Invest in yourself. You hear this all the time, but a lot of people do not do it. They're afraid to spend money on themselves, but you should be the number one investment. The number one investment that I always make each and every year is in myself, hands down. Also, to grow to your max potential, little things, like I said, read, do your daily 5 tasks, keep doing those small wins to get to where you want to be. Next thing was sowing seeds that benefit others. Success is about yourself, and significance is about others. That's one thing he said. So, obviously, the people around you are what's going to make you successful. It's not, you can't get there by yourself. You need to build the right people around you. So a lot of the problem is that people always want to reap the benefits of having success, but that's not how it should be. You need to add value to others. You need to give as much value to others as possible. I do this podcast. I do it for free. It takes time for me to do it, but I do it because I want to add value. That's the thing. It's not about just you. Success isn't just about you. It's about the people around you. It's about adding value to people and doing the things that you need to do to represent yourself as a leader and build the core team around you and help those other people that are around you too. Success, they say it's from the top down, but you also got to look at it from the bottom up. That's one thing too, is look at success from the bottom up. How can I help that person on the bottom to level up? Because if that person levels up, the whole group grows. Everybody else continues to level up. So think about that. He also talked about clear, clear as in CLEAR. And he had a word for each and every letter. So communicate was his first one. And obviously we've talked about communication a ton with a ton of guests on this show. Communication is essential for success. Great communicators don't make it about themselves. They make it about other people. I just got done talking about this. Make everything about other people. Add as much value as you can. You go into the office, ask your secretary or Ask your salespeople how their day was. Don't just make everything about business, but also communicate well to your customers. Talk to them like they're friends. Talk to them about their day and how things are going. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Then he got into leadership. Obviously, he's the king of leadership. This one's huge. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Great leaders are successful because they influence people and add value. We keep going back to that. See, add value, add value. This stuck with me. Whatever your leadership lid is now is the size of your business. Think about that. Whatever your leadership lid is now is the size of your business. Look around your business. If you got a tiny little business where it's you and another person, you need to step your leadership game up. If you got a big business and it's continuing to grow, your leadership is pretty spot on. So wherever your business is now, you know, that's how you are as a leader. And that one right there stuck to me big time. Then we got into equipping. Great leaders and successful people equip really well. You need to equip people as much as possible, but you need to do it better with whatever you are equipping them with. So whatever you equip somebody with, you need to be doing that better. You can't teach somebody something that you suck at and then expect them to do it. You know, they watch you. It goes back to the people that are watching you. If they're seeing that you suck at something, you're trying to teach them the thing you suck at, you think they're going to take you seriously? So that's what that means right there. Attitude, have a great attitude, stay positive. This self-explanatory right there. You always got to have a positive attitude. Then you got into relationships. People won't go along with you if they can't get along with you. Think about that. People won't go along with you if they can't get along with you. So build relationships. Ask people how they are. Talk to them daily about their daily lives. Be a good leader. Maxwell was amazing. The whole event was amazing overall. I personally won the Core Values Award. I did a post on that on my social media. I was honored to win that award. That's their best award with TCS, and it's all about representing what core values, what TCS is all about, and doing the things, taking action. Brian did an amazing heartfelt speech, and it was awesome. And he even said, he's like, I probably talked to this guy in one-on-one calls more than anybody in this group. But that's the thing. Like this group is, I want to give as much as possible within this group. And that's what it's about too, is giving as much as possible. And also, give more than you take. And Brian and I have had that conversation multiple times. Brian has given me so much of his time, so much value to help me grow and help my business. But I just don't want to take from him. I want to continue to give back. What can I give back to the group? That's how TCS is. There's so many other groups out there that just take information. That's it. TCS, we all give. We give information to each other. Top Contractor School Retreat was a success. Amazing event. There's going to be another one in June. So hopefully, if you all have any questions about it, reach out to me. It's something special, man. I'm not just saying that. Like I'm in quite a few other groups, but this is different. I said it in my speech when I got the Core Values Award. I was like, this group is different because a lot of these other groups, you see the revolving door, people in and out, people trying to sell each other, not really caring about each other. This group, it's the same people each and every time. As the group gets bigger, the core that's kind of was with it from the beginning still there. Then these other people join and they become family, and everybody is accepted, and we all just want to help each other and grow our business, grow our lives. That's what TCS is about. So hope you all enjoyed this podcast. This was a quick, somewhat quick recap on the Top Contractor School event. I appreciate each and every one of you. Take the time, please like, share, comment. You know the routine. 5-star reviews goes a long way. And I love you all. Thank you. And I will see you all on the next episode.